you so much for making the time.
My
I know you're
pleasure.
very busy.
You got swing state voters here?
I think we have some swing state voters here. There we go. 2 or 3. So, first of all, I want to ask, do you think, does the president-elect know you're here tonight?
He does.
Do you think he's watching?
I hope so. He'll watch at some point.
All right, good.
We're fans.
All right, thank you. I don't know if we are fans.
We're fans.
All right, thank you. So,
Listen, he was very successful on The Apprentice. He built an incredible brand, #1 show on this.
oh, we're fans of NBC, not of me personally.
We're fans of your
Okay, gotcha.
show.
'Cause I was
He's a
waiting for
TV
you to
guy.
say we love a closer look. I want to find, first of all, a common ground and things we can agree on. First of all, I want to congratulate you, the first woman to ever run a successful presidential campaign. That's very impressive.
Thank you.
And so I want to congratulate you on that. Also, I've seen you in interviews take issue with a group of people that you feel are sort of saying "not my president" about Donald Trump, and I just want to make it very clear that he is my president.
Good for you.
He's my president so much it's keeping me up at night.
No.
And
He's so exciting because he's getting so much done. There's so much activity already. I know that's what you meant. And first, if I could just back up 1 second, it's
Sure,
your show,
of
but
course.
I get so much credit for this campaign. And yes, I was the campaign manager, and I'm really excited to go into the West Wing with President Trump. But we had a fantastic team, and I think there's no substitute for a quality candidate that connects with people and communicates with them. And he did that, but I just wanted to share the credit.
Oh, of course. That's very nice of you to share the credit. When you said that you were fans of my show, I have to say I do it alone. It's a one-man show over here.
So should I go?
No, you're good.
Are we
You're
done
good.
here?
I want to ask, this broke while we were getting ready for the show, while I was getting changed for the show. CNN had a report that the intelligence community briefed both the president and the president-elect with allegations that the Russian government has compromising information on President-elect Trump, both business information and personal information. I know this just happened. Can you confirm or comment on the fact that the intelligence community has presented this
Well,
to
guess
Donald
what
Trump?
hasn't happened, Seth? Nobody has sourced it. They're all unnamed, unspoken sources in the story, and it says it was based on a Russian investigator to begin with. So where are we?
I think it was based on an MI6 British investigator.
Right. Well, one of those, and then it said that it also may have originated with a Russian investigator. It also says that Hillary Clinton, groups that wanted Hillary Clinton to win, may have been behind the investigations themselves. And most importantly, it says that the FBI is trying to confirm it. So nothing's been confirmed. And I have to say, as an American citizen, regardless of your party or if you don't like politics at all, which are many Americans, we should be concerned that intelligence officials leak to the press and won't go and tell the president-elect or the president of the United States himself now, Mr. Obama, what the information is. They would rather go tell the press.
But the report was the press report was about
allegation.
them going to the president.
And it says that they never briefed him on it, that they appended two pages to the bottom of his intelligence report.
I believe it said they did brief him on it.
Well, he has said that he is not aware of that.
Okay. That concerns me.
No.
I'm concerned.
he is
but in
not
general,
aware.
I just want to.
That's
I
not fair.
understand. No, I understand
That's not
that.
And it's not true.
What is not true? That I'm concerned?
No, that I see.
Okay, I assure you I am.
Any father of a newborn is concerned, believe me.
Yes, exactly.
About that. But no, it's not fair that people don't give him his due. He received that intelligence briefing.
Mm-hmm.
He made comments about it afterwards. And I have to tell you, there wasn't very compelling information in terms of the nexus that many people would like to make between alleged hacking and the election results. Vladimir Putin didn't tell Hillary Clinton to ignore Michigan and Wisconsin. She did that all by herself. They spent more money on Georgia and Arizona than they did in Michigan and Wisconsin.
I'm not going to sit here and argue with you that the Clinton campaign was a well-run campaign.
Well, or that the Russians interfered in the election successfully, that they
Well,
disrupted our democracy, which is really what we should all care about.
I agree. Now,
is that true
but
or not? Nobody
shouldn't
has
we
proven
care if the Russians tried to interfere, whether it affected the outcome of the election or not? Isn't that something that I sometimes fear that the president-elect has no curiosity as to the amount they tried?
That is completely false.
Okay.
He has enormous curiosity. I'm there every day with him. He has a number of different meetings every day, briefings and otherwise. He was curious enough to figure out America. He knew America when many other
That's
Republicans
a pivot
did
right
not.
there, Kellyanne.
No, and Democrats did not.
That is a, and by
He
the way,
understood America and won America.
no one does it better. Nobody does it better.
However, I wanted to answer your question about what he learns and what he knows and what he believes. I mean, he's been very specific about what he's going to do in the first couple weeks and first 100 days. You can go and pull it up right now. I think that's why he won, because he said 10-step program to reform the Veterans Administration. And he also said something that's very important, which is if we have veterans who are waiting in line, dying, waiting for care, who are we as a nation? I think that's a very important nonpartisan
You
point.
have not picked a VA secretary yet, is that correct?
Well, he's going to pick one, but he's just
So why hasn't that happened
he's
yet?
had so many different candidates with a diversity of backgrounds and opinions and vision for the VA. He actually, the list keeps getting longer. We've had a long short list for all of these different appointments. So I guess the better question on the table is if we have 8 nominees for the cabinet that are having hearings this week in Washington, D.C., Seth, are we going to get fair hearings from the Democrats? We have Minority Leader Chuck Schumer of New York saying they're going to obstruct any Supreme Court justice we put up. They're going to embarrass and harass some of our nominees with the information that's not important. I mean, we need a government that functions. President Obama had 7 nominees confirmed on Inauguration Day. Can you guarantee we'll get that by next Friday on our Inauguration Day?
I'm not in charge, so I can't, but I will say, can you admit that there are some nominees that have put forward that the Office of Ethics has said have not been fully had their background checked by the FBI? And I just want to say, you ran a successful campaign talking about draining the swamp, talking about ethics, talking about Hillary Clinton's ethics, making ethics a centerpiece of your campaign, and it was an effective method. And yet now here we are, and it seems to me that you don't seem to think background checks are important
That's not true. When would I have ever said that? Of course I think background checks are important, but let me take Betsy DeVos, for example. She has been nominated to be the Secretary of Education in this nation. Her hearing was supposed to be this week. It has now been pushed off, and I talked to her office today, and they said that she has completed all of her paperwork. It got in there early, and she's confident that everything is in order, and yet she can't get the hearing on time. Why is that? Why are we playing politics with the Department of Education or state? Well, but President Obama, it shouldn't be. As President Obama had 7 nominees confirmed to his cabinet, including Defense and State and Treasury and Commerce. So did President Bush, actually.
All right, if there's 7,
if
there's 7, we still have
10 days
time.
to go, folks.
I'm very excited about this, and obviously I think a lot of the questions I'm asking you will be asked to the president-elect tomorrow. First press conference tomorrow.
Very excited.
63 days in. Why did it take so long? That's a lot longer than presidents usually take to speak to the press.
Well, the president-elect has been very busy forming his government.
But every
his schedule's
president who
public.
ever puts together government
They
is
haven't had, well,
They haven't had to meet with Kanye.
no, they haven't had.
They haven't had the Kanye meeting.
I love the Kanye meeting because.
I love the Kanye meeting too.
Come on, let's go back and look at the schedules of other president-elect, shall we?
I'm just saying they got their first press conference out a lot earlier.
And said what? Does anybody remember what they said in that first press
So
conference?
now you're saying it's not important.
No, it is important.
But no, you just dismissed
But we are
it as-
accessible to the press. Here I am. We are accessible to the press on a constant basis. And
You are accessible to the
puts
press,
out
and
statements.
I want to tip my cap to how accessible you are.
Can you actually do that like a Make America Great Again cap? Can you do that right now? Do you
I'll
have one
tip
under
an
that
imaginary hat, but you can't see what an imaginary says.
I sort of can. I sort of can.
But tell me this, because I want to speak. It seems like you have to go on the press constantly, and it seems like one of the things you have to do is defend or explain what the president-elect has said on Twitter. Wouldn't it be great for you personally if he tweeted a little bit less? Just for you personally.
No, actually, the answer is no. I think his Twitter platform, like his social media platforms in general, Seth, they combined 45 million followers or so on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And it's his way to communicate directly with the people. It's free for you. You get information from him. The press doesn't like it because he does an end run around them. And it's the democratization of information. You don't have to wait for some journalist, some anti-Trump journalist, to curate the information and bias it to deliver to you.
But there's
you just
no
read
follow-up questions.
And then you stop. Well, there are plenty of follow-up questions.
Not on
We receive
Twitter.
them. Come on. Are you on Twitter? There's plenty of...
He doesn't reply to the follow-up questions.
Oh, yes, he does sometimes.
He
does.
replies to things, but not questions.
But Twitter, think about what he's done on Twitter. Think about the Trump effect, as I call it already. He has major employers deciding to move their factories out of Mexico and back to the United States and keep those jobs here. That's what leaders do. They do that even before
And so
they're
you're
sworn
okay with the president sort of picking winners and losers in the free market via Twitter?
Nope, I'm okay
Because that
with him.
seems like what he does
No,
sometimes.
not at all. What he's doing is he's letting down incentives. He's saying to them...
On Twitter.
If you can... And elsewhere.
Yeah.
On the phone in meetings and certainly in statements. But look, he's an unconventional guy. We've never had such a successful, brilliant businessman take office before. It's usually a typical politician who's moving from place to place. Well, he's employed tens of thousands of people, and he invested in this city, New York, when no one else would. He had vision, and he did. There are many buildings in this city that don't just bear his name, but they bear his vision as imprimatur.
You said the other day on CNN that sometimes the press obsesses with taking the words out of his mouth instead of judging him on what's in his heart. Isn't it important to
Did
judge?
I say sometimes? I meant all the time.
So you think it's not important to listen to what he's saying, but it's more important to listen to what is in his
No, I
heart?
think it's both, but there never seems to be the latter.
But how can we know what's in his heart?
He expresses it.
He expresses it how? Out of his
Friendly
mouth.
chime. No. Yes. So, here's what's in his heart. Does anybody remember what the president-elect said moments after he received the call from Hillary Clinton, congratulating and, yes, ladies and gentlemen, conceding the election to him as her president?
Yeah, we all know.
Do you remember what he said?
No.
He said, I will be the president of all Americans, even those who do not support me. And then he said, and I know there are more than a few. See, we don't have such disrespect. I guess I'm such astonished. I'm almost 50 years old. I'm just so astonished to hear people outwardly ridicule the office of the president and its current occupant. I was raised differently, no matter who it is.
Well,
I know the media and their pollsters who were crap didn't prepare you for the election results. But all you had to do was listen to us. The cues and clues were there every day. I was on TV saying, here's how we're actually going to win.
And again, he said he'd be president to all of us, yet he has also said on Twitter that Vladimir Putin was right, that the Democrats are being poor sports. Is that really being a president to all parties when you sort of take Russia's side against...
Have you seen what the Democrats have said about him?
Okay,
Did you see the $1.2 billion spent by Hillary and her campaign, not even counting the outside groups? And it was all anti-Trump. If anybody in the audience can tell me right now what Hillary Clinton's message was in this campaign, I'm listening. Because I'm not, Donald Trump is not a message. And that was her message. She had no message.
Again, a poorly run campaign.
His message was jobs,
I got your back
healthcare.
there.
Yeah, but it's important because people say, why is she still talking about the campaign? Because you're talking about the campaign and they won't accept
I'm not talking
him
about
as
the campaign.
their president.
I'm absolutely not. I'm talking about what's happening right now.
Right, but you're talking about Democrats as poor sports and them
didn't
trying
say
to
that.
find...
He said that, and he didn't say it during the campaign.
He did
said
say
it.
it
No, he
during the
said it
campaign.
December 24th on Twitter.
Because they are. Because they still won't give up.
Oh, then you're talking about it. I'm not talking
They're
about it.
still pretending it was Jim Comey or Russian hacking. It was Hillary Clinton.
All right,
It's a
my last
bad
thing,
message.
and thank you, and I really hope you come back because it's fantastic for me to talk to somebody within the Trump campaign and within the Trump
No
presidency.
campaign.
No campaign. That's right. I did it.
Again.
I will say this. I'm going to make you a bet.
Okay.
I bet in the next 4 years, we are not going to see the president-elect's tax returns.
And I bet, and I know because this was talked about during the campaign many times, I bet that most Americans really care what their tax returns are going to look like after he's been president for 4 years.
I think that means you agree with me. Kellyanne Conway, everybody.